Hi guys, this is Jackie from techjackie.com and welcome to another video on SEO. You already know backlinks are one of the most important ranking factors for Google. Although they have lost their importance over the years as Google is now getting smarter and smarter at understanding content, there's still a highest correlation between sites ranking on the first page and the number of and quality of referring domains or backlinks pointing to the site. When building backlinks, there are obviously many factors to take into consideration, out of which the two most important ones being authority and relevancy. Now in this video, I'll explain to you which one to go for when building backlinks to your site. Now starting off, I would like to discuss a little bit about PageRank or the Google's algorithm which they have used previously when they want to see the quality of the site or with regards to the backlinks. So according to the definitions, PageRank or PR is an algorithm used by Google search to rank web pages in their search engine results. According to Google, PageRank works by counting the number and quality of links to a page to determine a rough estimate of how important the website is. Although Google has said that they have discontinued using PageRank in the algorithm, there has been many speculation that they have still used it, but they have kind of like evolved it and upgraded to another level, right? So it's not just about using PageRank to determine, but there are also other factors which comes into play, and one of which it is relevancy, right? So what's the difference between authority and relevancy? Authority is how powerful the link is, and relevancy is how relevant the links coming from a site or content is, right? So there, when it comes to authority, earlier you can you can actually install kind of like a toolbar on your browser and see the page rank, right, of the site. Page rank is actually on a scale of 10, right? 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, right? So if you get backlinks from a site which has higher page ranks, your site will kind of rank higher, right? There's a is like a common sense there. But nowadays, since Google has discontinued using the page rank, or they have also removed that toolbar, so it's now impossible for you to really calculate the page rank, right? Even though they say they haven't used it, still people say that they're still using it, but they have kind of like evolved it to the next level, right? So there it comes, the concept of domain authority and page authority released by Moz, right, the SEO tool, and also other SEO tools as well. For example, Ahrefs with their domain rating and page URL rating, right, UR. So nowadays we have different third-party companies, right, private companies which try to mimic how Google PageRank actually works, right? And they release it in their own tools or metrics. So nowadays, I can't really say that domain authority, page authority, or domain rating or URL rating, these metrics are accurate, but at least they are somehow able to determine how authority the website is, right? To some extent. Okay. So when measuring for authority, you can use either any of the tools, right? Like I prefer to use domain authority. You can also use Ahrefs metrics as well, right? So to summarize for you, authority is how powerful the links is, right? Based on the power only. Now coming to relevancy, which is relatively a new concept recently, because Google has evolved their algorithm to now be focusing on relevancy. There are basically two types of relevancy. Number one is content and site. Now content basically means, for example, if you're getting a backlinks to your recipe site from an article which discuss about any recipe, now that is the content relevancy, right? Like the content or the article is relevant to the site, right, of your to your site. And the site relevancy is basically means the overall website, right, what is all about. For example, you're getting backlinks from, let's say, another recipe website, right? So the overall website, the other website where you got the backlinks from is about recipe. So at that level you have a site relevancy, right? Okay, so now coming to which one you should actually, go for or choose when building backlinks nowadays, right? Especially for 2020. So in ideal situation, you would want to aim for authority, right? Authority and relevancy. And as I talk about relevancy, it should be both at the content and site level, right? Site relevancy. Well, why is that so? Because you see, if you only aim for relevancy, let's say you get a backlink, let's say the majority of backlinks you get come from a site which have an D on an average of 10 to 15, but the content and the site is super relevant to your site, right? Sure, you will still rank, but it will take you lots and lots of time, right? Like it takes you a long time for you to rank because the site simply doesn't have enough power, right, to boost you up. Whereas if you get only a site from backlinks from authority sites but has no relevancy, then in that case, Google also focus on relevancy, right? Maybe the backlinks may not give you um, as much power as it should be, right? So in that case, and you may also face the risk of being penalized as well by Google, right? Because if you only get links from authority side without any relevance to your content to your site, right? Then Google will, you can surely know that you are putting effort to building your links unnaturally, right? So that's why you need to always go for authority and relevancy. Okay, but this is just in ideal situations. In the majority of time, right, you will either go for authority or relevancy because you see, like, obviously content relevancy will almost 100% be there if you're using guest posting, for example, or blogger outreach, where you essentially have to create content for the site owner, right? In that case, content relevancy should already be managed, right? Now you only have to look for is authority here in that case. So you may want to have it, a little bit of mix in your backlinks profile. You may have, let's say, 20% coming from authority side, which may not be complete, which may only have content relevancy, right? Because if you're just going for guest posts, for example, and another, let's say 60 to 70% could be just from anywhere, right? With a even low authority side, but you should aim for high relevancy in terms of site as well. Now, site relevancy nowadays, I've seen that Google is stressing on it a lot because you see, getting a backlinks from a from a relevant site is very important, difficult, right? Because let's say you're in a recipes niche and you want to have backlinks from, let's say, another recipe site, right? Now that is very difficult nowadays. So what you would normally go for is go for any site which gives back guest post opportunity, but they may have one section on their website which only talks about recipe, right, or cooking, for example. So in that case, you may get a little bit of boost, right, with regards to relevancy from the content or maybe from the whole section of the site. But at the end of the day, it may not still be as high as it should be, right? Unless you're getting a backlinks from the site with is fully relevant to yours, right? Like let me just give you an example here. Like for example, this particular site, the odysseyonline.com, which offers guest posts, it has a domain authority of 83, right? As you can see here, 83, which is a fairly, like, a very high authority site, right? But when you look at the site here, you can see that it has many categories here, like lifestyle, health and wellness, right? Student life stuff, entertainment. So this is basically what you would be doing, right, in a real world, right? Because getting a guest post from this kind of site is much easier. This is not, this site doesn't have any site relevancy at all, right? As you can see, it has different categories, right? Like it's not fully related to a specific thing, right? Obviously you get some power from this and a content relevancy from this as well. Like for example, you write something about student life, right, and then you get relevant backlinks from the content. But at the end of the day, you also should strive for getting some backlinks from site which are relevant to yours as well, right? So let me just summarize this up for you. Authority versus relevancy, which one you should really go for? The answer is, in the ideal situation, you would try to aim for both, right? And when it comes to relevancy, content and site as well. But in the real world practices, which is not possible, you should always try to have a mix in your domain, right? Like let's say out of 100% authority, maybe 20%, right? High authority site. And then when it comes to relevancy, maybe like let's say 10% from site relevancy, and then the rest just try to keep it as having content relevancy, right? Like throughout both in authority and relevancy section. So that's all for the discussion. Like if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section, and I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. And if you want me to discuss on any topic, just feel free to message me as well, right? And I'll make a video on that. If you haven't, that's all for it. See you in the next video.